What is good,
sir.
everybody? Welcome back to Realfanssports. I'm here with Nonpfixion. This is This Week in Sports, episode number 8. What's good with you, Non?
What's good, sir? How are you doing, man?
Well, I got a headache right now. If y'all saw the first try at this podcast, it didn't go so well. So we're restarting fresh, but we have some special guests today. We know NFL playoff starts this weekend. So who else to bring in but our family from the As the NFL Turns Sports podcast. So let's go ahead and welcome them in. We're going to bring in DOLPH and Coach Rock to the stage. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's good? What's good?
What's going on? How everybody doing?
Hello. Thank you for joining us tonight, too.
Big fan.
Thank you for having us, man.
Family call. We here.
Hey. All right, guys. So we get to
also lastly, this is episode 9. It's episode 9.
Oh, it's episode 9. Oh, well, I had the wrong notes set in. So okay, episode 9 then. That works. Yeah. So to start these things back up, let's talk about the As the NFL Turns Sports podcast. DOLPH, we'll kind of segue it into you. What is the As the NFL Turns? Why you decided you want to start this up, and give us the rundown.
The As the NFL Turn, man, it was just a goal of mine because like I said, we recently started our own sports network to come on in sports network, and we want to branch out and not just put ourselves in a box. We want to cover more than just our love is the New Orleans Saints, of course, but we want to cover more than that. So my goal was to branch out, to grow, and eventually not just covering the NFL, but MLB, NHL, NBA, high school, and everything. It's a dream of mine to have my own sports network and to surround myself with great people such as yourself and Nine and Coach, of course. And me and Coach, man, we got in here on the ground up, and we've been building to where we are right now. And it's a beautiful thing. Shout out to our brother Carlos. He's a little under the weather. Him and PJ, probably yelling at PJ because PJ is a Saint hater sometimes, but we're gonna let that go. But yeah, man, that's what it was, man. I just my love for football, my love for the NFL. I grew up on like Brent Musburger, man. The Jags, Keith Jackson, whoa, Nelly, man, Bob Costas or Ahmad Rashad, man, you name it, man. And I just love sports, man, and I love the NFL. And as the NFL turns, the name for the show came from spending time with my granny as a kid, and she'll be watching her stories during the day as the world turns. So hey, as the NFL turns, and the logo which you see that you guys have on the screen was created by one of our family members, man. Shout out to T Dirty, man. Does great work, man. So again, family, thank y'all for having them, man. It's an honor to be here, man, and I'm looking forward to the night, man.
Cool.
Same here, man. Same here. I heard you say, because I didn't even know this. You said you want to eventually break off and do, MLB, high school, and all that too. So as the NFL turns, just a segue into something bigger and better.
Right. Next week we have some individuals coming in, some great people that we're going to sit down and talk with, who have their own podcasts, who are successful. And we're going to talk to them about coming in and joining our family. And what me and Coach are trying to do, man, we want to have podcasts that covers the NHL, MLB. We want to cover the total spectrum of the sports world under the Come On In Sports Network. My goal with the sports network is eventually to become regional and go from regional to live TV, and basically corner the market on the social media platform, be on every social media platform. So that's the goal right now. Yes, sir.
I love that, man. Look, this thing, bro. It's like, well, first off, me and Non are just extremely grateful that you thought of us to be able to come and join you in this venture. It has definitely been the best way to start off our Sundays. Anybody that's missing out on joining us Sunday morning, if you're into the NFL, I'm telling you, it's a hoot, man. We all laughing, giggling, whatever, talking our mess, talking our shit a little bit, but also bringing y'all some real, true information on what's going on around the league and why we think these teams are the next step and the next best thing. But let's segue this into Coach Rock, because, I totally missed his whole first story. Hopefully you can say it back exactly how you said it before, because I know it was good. Tell us your story a little bit, Coach.
Basically, I was just saying about how I got started in coaching, and what got me into coaching. The story again was I had just came home from Grambling State University. This little kid came, Kenny Jackson, nicknamed a kid Lil Muffler. Muffler had kind of got some problems. He kind of dropped out of middle school. He came and he kind of shared his dream with me. He wanted to go back to school, so he wanted me. This was a Friday evening. He wanted me Monday to kind of go get him back in school and everything. And man, we sit from like 4 o'clock that evening by my house, by my mom's house, till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Till I told him, man, look, it's time to go to bed and it's late, and I know you got to go home. And so. Everything was in place, Zach. I was looking forward to going and get the kid back in school Monday, see how I could get him going on the right track again. And so that Saturday, got a phone call about 12 noon, and everybody was like, man, you need to come up the street, which I was like, for what? And then when I did, the same little kid had been shot multiple times and was laying face down dead.
Damn.
So my thing was, when I kind of went inside, it was a conversation I had with the Lord, man. Like, Lord, this little boy just left my house yesterday evening, and before anybody knew what was gonna happen. So why did you send him my way? Like, why did you have him? I guess be the last person I speak to or share his dreams with. And after a while, it was just, I guess he revealed to me it's just a connection I had with kids, man. And I think a week later, man, I walked onto a playground. Coach Freddie King, which had coached me since a little kid, I started volunteering my time with him, and eventually he turned the program over to me in the next 2 years, and I've been gone since that, just coaching, man. Just trying to get back to kids, man. So things like that would happen with him wouldn't happen to another kid. I've loved kids along the way, but I try to save as many as I can save, man. Just trying to give them a direction and giving them some positive directions to go in and try to bring positive people in their lives to influence them, to make right choices, and do the right things in life.
No, for sure. I mean, I know for me, the way I've always looked at life is, we all want our own personal successes and stuff like that, but the bigger goal is to make sure the people after us can be successful and that we can help, even just share a wise word every now and then that might be able to turn, have them think about what's really important, or give them the direction or a voice to, ears to listen to, or a voice to hear. It's definitely great with what you do, man. I'm sure a lot of those boys, man, never forget you. No, you want to talk about that at all?
The reason why, well, when I hear your story and you say you asked why, because you would listen. He knew you would listen. And it's not sometimes about you getting him to the next level, is the fact that he found somebody that would listen to him. So at that moment, you gave him the peace that he needed mentally and physically and even spiritually. So that's what you were there for. And you're doing the same thing for kids now. So it was also a message to you to show, this is my message to you. This is his message to you, saying, this is what I would like you to do for me, to help the youth, help the teenagers, help kids, help even adults find the right path. And that's your mission.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just to piggyback, what you said is true, man. I've had, I've coached on the high school. I've had opportunities to go to college and coach And I turned it down, man, because I felt my mission was working with the youth.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids like, man, you turning money. I say, it's not about money. God can always bless me financially, man. I'm not concerned about money. I'm not concerned about fame. I'm not concerned about, like I tell a lot of coaches now, everybody wants to win a championship, but at what cost?
Yeah.
I'd rather reach a kid and teach him than worry about a championship, because a championship is just to patch your resume up. But I want to look back over what I did to help a kid, man. And it's like, it's so much I could tell you, man. Like a lot of guys now, they're lawyers, they're doctors. Like Zach Nonpfixion, I could go to a lot of NFL games, don't pay for a flight, don't pay for a ticket. They're like, Coach, you won't come? Just let us know. The hotel is paid for, my food, the plane, everything is paid for. I don't pay not one dime, man, to go to a lot of sports just because they remember me from 9 and 10 years old. Now they have their own families. They'll call me and like they'll share the excitement of their kids growing up.
Yeah.
Like, Coach, my little boy playing soccer, he playing football. They'll have film, you know, and they like say, what you think, Coach? I have coaches that coach on the college level. They'll reach out to me, Coach, you know, what you think I'm missing in this? So, you know, it's a lot of things that I look back and it makes me feel good because I don't look at the resume of championship, that they remember me from 8, 9, 10 years old, and I'm still a major part of their lives now, you know, even with their own families.
I mean, your resume is richer than any championship, that's for sure. I mean, I've heard some of these stories, you know, listening to you and Dolph over the years, you know, and just kind of picking it up, but actually getting to sit down and talk to you with it now. It's just like you can feel the passion that comes from what you're saying, man. This was your calling, man. I think, you know, might have been an unfortunate way what drew you to it, but the fact that you're here, man, you're out there, you know, doing the Lord's work, man. So big shout out to Coach Rock, man. You know, appreciate everything you do. But yeah, guys. So you know, this is just 4/5 of what the As the NFL Turns podcast include. Like we said, Carlos and PJ weren't able to make it today. Unfortunately, Carlos was under the weather, but y'all definitely need to come and check us out. We will be live on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time to give y'all our predictions and rundown of the wild card matchups for the first round of the playoffs. Dolph over here has already put us on the job. He already got us some tasks we have to do in order to make this show the best one yet, where we're gonna highlight some special players and do some things like that. What was your thought process on doing that, Dolph? Why do you think that's important?
Just for us to grow, man, and to be more informative. And my mindset was just looking at the current shows, the current pregame shows. If you think, wow, it's wild card weekend, so my thought is wild card weekend. You got so many storylines. Like we can start in Dallas. You got Mike McCarthy, former Packers coach, Super Bowl winning coach with the Packers, now coaching the Cowboys. He will be facing the Packers. So my thought process, wow, wouldn't it be cool? It'll be cool to do something on Coach McCarthy, how he started, where he came from, to where he is now. When I all accumulates this Sunday in Dallas, Texas, when he takes on his former team, the team that he won a Super Bowl with, and a team that really gave up on him, you know, kind of forced them out.
Hey, Doug, wouldn't it be great if the Packers really showed him some love?
It would
be great, bro. They showed him
I'd
some
get
love.
a laugh. I'd get a laugh.
Hey man, that's what it is. And also we want to spotlight some players, man. You know what I'm saying? And my thought process was on that is like, hey, it's wild card Saturday. There's 2 games, so hey, let's spotlight coaches. Look, we're gonna have a special coaches corner with Coach Rock. He's going to spotlight the coaches. He's going to give a little info on the coaches. He's going to let you know how he feels about the job that the coaches have done this year with the teams. And again, Zach, myself, we gonna break it down, man. We gonna give you some players, and of course, we gonna give you our thoughts. And of course, y'all got to stay around at the end. One of the best segments there is in all pregame shows.
Hey, you're right.
We pick our straight balling players of the day. You know, it gets exciting, man. And and we got our lone wolf too, you know. So listen, man, it's a show that's growing, and it's also for you. One of the things we want to do in the future, we want to start opening up the lines, and having you guys call in on game day. We want to know your thoughts. What are you thinking right before kickoff? What are you looking for from your team? You know, what do you feel about, you know, what's it going to take for your team to walk away that day with a W?
Man, what I love the most about
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was saying what I love the most about how it works is like it's all just been organic so far. Like we talk about the straight balling, like that was just boom. You were like, oh, let's do a straight balling, and then that has become a pivotal segment of the show. Like I can't wait for that moment. Every Saturday night, I'm sitting there like, who's gonna be my straight balling player of the week? I gotta get some stats ready. You know what I'm saying? And then Lone Wolf, hey, everybody wants to hear you out, man.
Lone Wolf, and then we got the team post. You know what I'm saying? Where we bring my content creators from around the country who cover the various teams, you know, to get their thoughts, to get an insider's view of the team that, you know, that we're talking about, man. And it's growing, man. Again, look for the family to grow. You know, look for the family to grow. We're looking for a lot of the big things, and it's a collective effort. As the NFL terms, it's not DOLPH, it's not Coach, it's not Nine, it's not Zach, it's not Carlos, it's all of us together, and you know, because there's no show without you. And we fan friendly, man. You know, we family friendly. I really don't say fans or subscribers. We family. If you come every day, you always here. You're always supporting Nine. You're always supporting Zach. Some of you guys you even come over. You support us, man, and we appreciate that. We don't take anything for granted, because you could be doing anything with your time, but for you to take time out your day to spend it with us, man, it's an honor and it's a pleasure, man. Just for y'all to do that. And also, there are some days, you know, when we come in and we're doing this, we're going through something. We're human just like you are. But coming in there and feeling your energy, or someone may say something in the chat that you know, that may strike a nerve with us. You know, me personally, it's happened a couple of times, and I'm like, wow. You know,
been there too.
And I'm like, man, and that's gold right there, you know. And the person just talking, they don't have no idea. About what they just said, just affected me and helped me with whatever I'm dealing with. But yeah, man, it's
a true family, man.
It's a true family,
it's
man.
True family.
It's not just lip service, man. We mean it.
It's the fairest place in it. Yeah.
Hey, look, as long as Coach Rock got that strawberry oatmeal, we fine. We to the moon, baby.
Look, all I know, the chat love when he got that oatmeal.
You gotta give me some more, man. I can't get the strawberries from Ponchatoula, bro.
They were like, you gotta get Coach that oatmeal.
You gotta get the oatmeal. Well, shoot, man. Since we're talking about our predictions, let's go ahead and not get into the detail, but let's look at the playoffs, man. This has been, like Dolph just said, it's been a scripted story. I mean, everybody jokes about the NFL as a script, but it feels that way with some of these matchups we got. I mean, you got Stafford versus his old team, the Lions. You got Goff versus his old team, the Rams. You got McCarthy versus Green Bay. We got Tyreek Hill versus his old team, the Chiefs. It is absolutely crazy how this has worked out, you know, and it is going to be some fun football. Let's start off in the AFC here. Who is everybody's Super Bowl favorite? Well, let's start with you, Coach. Who you got and why?
The Baltimore Ravens. The reason I picked Baltimore this year, I kind of been watching the quarterback play, man, and this year your boy, he doesn't have to run to beat you. He can actually sit in the pocket now. And that was one of the issues I had with him in previous years. Like everything was contending on him breaking the pocket and running. And most teams would kind of stack the line and make him beat them throwing. And he couldn't do that. But I think this year he's finally going to break that. And I really think he has, from Zay Flowers, man, to Odell. I mean, he got so many weapons, man. You pick your poison now passing the ball. And I don't really think there's a secondary can match up with any of the receivers right now, man. I think Baltimore has so much speed at the receiver, man, and not even talking about the tight end. I mean, it's just if everybody stays healthy, I don't see nobody beating. I really don't.
What about you, Dolph? Who you got?
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
Here we go.
Shout out to Mozzie. Mozzie, all I'm gonna tell you, I hope y'all ready. I hope, but man, listen, looking at like Coach said, man, the Ravens, man, look like the most complete team heading into the playoff, man. Offensively, defense is like one of the best. But there's another team that is in this group. There's two. I'm gonna start with the game in Houston. Cleveland and Houston, that Browns defense. If the defense travels, which has been a kind of a little problem for them this year, if their defense travels on the road, I think they have the total package defensively to match up with the Ravens offense.
Wow.
Because just like the Ravens have a game changer in Lamar Jackson on offense, the Browns have a game changer on defense and Myles Garrett that can wreak havoc on the game. So, and right now, I think the most dangerous team that a lot of people didn't want to get in the playoff is the Buffalo Bills, but it comes down to which Josh Allen will you get?
Yeah, which
You
one?
get the good Josh Allen, or will you get the bad Josh Allen? Yep. But I think old man Winter, like I call him, old Joe Flacco, taking no flack. You know, but it gonna be tough for him this week in Houston. But I think Cleveland with their defense could be a problem. And the most underrated defense I'll get out the way.
No, you
the
good.
Most underrated defense I think is the Kansas City Chiefs.
That defense is for real.
That defense has been the best part of their team this year.
I can't disagree.
Very true.
All right, now who you got in the AFC, man? Who's your favorite?
Man, coming out the AFC, going to Super Bowl, I say Baltimore. I think it's going to be Baltimore. I do love the story, though, with the Browns. I do think the Browns will be playing Baltimore. They will be beating Texas, playing Baltimore. When it comes into like the Chiefs and Miami, I think that's a very interesting story. I do agree that the Chiefs defense is a better aspect of the team, but I also know that if Waddle and Tyreek is 75% healthy, it's gonna be a very interesting matchup between those two teams. And then I expect Buffalo to be in the AFC Finals against Baltimore. That's my thoughts.
I like that. Yeah, man, I'm kind of with you on that a bit. Nah, man, I think Buffalo is kind of figured it out. I mean, they're I think 5-1 or 6-1 over their last several games. They're finally connecting with a bunch of different receivers other than Stephon Diggs. James Cook is heating up when they actually feed him the right way. I love the story of Cleveland, but I don't think I can see them just getting through some of these powerhouses. I think the defense can only take them so far. And, it just feels like, Flacco, he's been playing well, but he's also thrown some of the most interceptions in his time playing right now. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to tell you what, I really think the Bills might slip in, man. I think they might slip in. I expect a Bills-Baltimore matchup in the AFC Championship, and I think it's going to be a damn good game. Now, we'll switch it over to the NFC. Coach Rock, who you got in the NFC, man? Who's your favorite?
Ooh, I want to say Frisco, but the Rams are playing some good ball right now, man.
They're sneaky.
Yeah.
What about you, Dolph? Who you got?
Man, put them all in the bag, man. Shake them up. And whoever you pull out the bag, man. except Tampa Bay.
Except
Tampa Bay, man.
I hear that. You think Green Bay got a chance?
Nah, I was just playing.
Okay.
I'm going with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys get 2 home games, listen to me. I fully expect the Cowboys to beat the Packers this Sunday. Now the thing is, they are expecting a storm to come through Sunday night, early Monday morning. So it'll be like 11 degrees Monday morning in Dallas. So the Packers maybe snowed in, the iced in here. But I see the Cowboys winning this, then hosting another game the next week. Either against the Ram, I guess they'll play the winner of the I guess would it be the low seed goes to the
it'd be the second low,
right?
it'd be the higher seed.
The second
The higher
so the higher seed will go to the Cowboys.
It might be Cowboys. It might be Cowboy Eagles, man.
It might. I just think going through Texas Stadium, the Cowboys have been on the road the last 2 years. I think they're hot at home, and I think the path is for them to end up in the NFC Championship game. And if the 49ers get upset and the Cowboys have to host the NFC Championship, Dallas in the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. Y'all can hear it all y'all want. Cowboys to the Super Bowl if they get 2 home games.
All right. Now who you got, man?
So I kind of feel that one a bracket, just kind of thinking about what I thought, right? And I'm gonna go on a branch and say that neither Kansas City nor Philadelphia make it out the first round. I say neither team make out the first round. I think it's gonna be Tampa Bay versus San Francisco. San Francisco is going to beat Tampa Bay to get to the NFC title, which is going to be against Dallas. Now, in that story, the last 2 years, Dallas has been 12-5. The last 2 years, they've lost to the San Francisco 49ers. But this year is going to be different. It's going to be Baltimore and Dallas in the Super Bowl.
Baltimore and Dallas.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be Baltimore and Dallas.
I can see it too. That's crazy that everybody but Coach Rock, the lone wolf over there with the Niners, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him, bro. I think it's gonna be hard to beat them in that weather in Frisco. I just don't see nobody beating them.
I mean, they're just so dominant in all phases. The thing where I give Dallas the edge is just if the Dallas team if the best version of the Dallas team shows up against San Fran, I think they can beat San Fran. Now, if they come out and they come out slow and not bringing their best stuff, not getting their pregame spaghetti or whatever it is, then San Fran's going to run all over them. It's really up to the Dallas team. I think that's the way I feel about it.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I think as good as Niners have been throughout this season, I just think right now this is the best we've seen Dak in a very long time. It's the very best we've seen him, and this is the time that they need to capitalize as a team to be successful. So, let's
he was the one bad game a couple weeks ago to stop him from getting MVP this year. I mean, they finally talked about him being the MVP, and then he went and threw 3 interceptions the next game. And then that basically took his ass out and brought in Lamar, who's now, unanimous with it. All right. Well, cool. Well, there's a lot of great stories to come in. And like we said, make sure you come join us on Friday at 8:30, where we'll go more in detail for each and every game. And we'll continue throughout the whole playoffs. I'm sure Dolph will be going live on that channel during some of the games as well. Me and Now will be going live throughout the playoffs too. We have planned to go live for Monday with Philly and Tampa Bay, and then we're hoping to go live Sunday night with the Lions and Rams. That is one matchup that I just can't wait to watch. But let's go ahead and segue into our next conversation, which is going to be back home in New Orleans, where we have some weird things going on. Everybody saw the final play against Atlanta. All Saints fans loved it. Jameis faked the victory formation, handed off to Jamal Williams, put up 48 against our rivals and the Atlanta Falcons, but then DA comes out and is upset about it. And then you also have some reporters for the Saints, some old heads that are coming out and putting a lot of blame on Jameis for this. I wanted to pull up the whole interview, but I was not able to find it or get the program to download. But basically, he interviews Jameis and tells him that he didn't like the decision to go for it. Jameis gets, so you disagree with the whole team? He goes, no, I disagree with the decision. He goes, well, the whole team made the decision. And he's like, no, but I disagree with you running it. And basically just trying to put blame on Jameis, and we could all assume as to why. Without what is y'all's thoughts on that situation? First, I know I loved it, and
I would say before all the Saints fans speak.
Yeah, let's hear what you got to say.
Let me speak first.
Okay.
There's the fact that the team agreed on it. I have no issue with that. Now, if you go by this technical terms, is Jameis at fault? At the moment, yes, because he's the captain on the field at the time. But I think they made the right decision in what they did. This is a team sport. It's a family sport. You you gave a person who had 17 touchdowns last season, hadn't had the opportunity really at all this season. Give him something to go out. It's a team thing. I understand that. I agree with that. The DA coming out and speaking the way he spoke is because of the old school version of the NFL. It's the unwritten rules of the NFL. It's the BS of the NFL. He's honestly, I don't even think he's mad at you, Matt, because if you listen to what he said at the end of the game, he wasn't mad at all. When the two coaches met at the middle, only one coach was upset because he even said, "Oh, I understand," and just kept pushing. So him interviewing, saying what he said, is to cover his tail with the other figures in the NFL. I don't think he was mad. I think he just covered his tail.
The only problem that I had with it is, and I get that too, like, because that was my initial thought too, trying to cover his tail, trying to save face and everything like that. But when you've been a person that everybody's already hated and that we've felt like you haven't stood up for your players except for a guy named Derek Carr, and like I said, I'll say it again, not a Derek Carr hater, but that's just how it's been with DA. He hasn't really had everybody's back, and then you have the opportunity to have the team's back, even have the fan base kind of get behind you for once, throughout this whole process. And then you kind of throw shade at them being like, oh, it's on them. It's on them. At the end of the day, like you said, it's a team and the coach is part of that team too. Whether you disagree with that, you should have kept that in-house and talked about it instead of going out and saying, oh, no, I didn't run that play. I didn't want that play. They did that without my permission. Because one, that makes you look like you don't have control of the team. And two, it looks like you're trying to undermine the thoughts of your players, which I don't like. Dolph, what's your thoughts on this situation?
He missed a golden opportunity. He missed a golden opportunity to turn 96% of who that nation who don't like him, who want him gone and fired, on his side. Now, it came out today through Saints, the Saints news reporters that on the second touchdown caught by A.T. Perry, the Saints were gonna run the ball and try to get Jamal Williams that touchdown, but the Saints got penalized. So thus,
yes,
that's why they wound up having to throw the pass to A.T. Perry for the touchdown. Now, they did ask Dennis Allen, could they run the play? And of course he said no, let's just take a knee. It's Atlanta. It's your rivalry. They've run the score up on us in the past. We ain't cry. We should have stopped them. Now, them lining up in the victory formation. Shannon Sharp lost his mind, calling James weak. He'll cut him, say he's a loser, the guy's a loser mentality. He'll cut him today. Well, Shannon, he's not under contract anymore. His contract is up. He's a free agent, so they can't do that. But my thing is, I think Dennis Allen missed a golden opportunity to turn some of this fan base anger and disappointment that they have in him. And especially when he went to the podium and said, I'd like to apologize to Art Smith. I'd like to apologize to the Atlanta Falcons. Let me just say this. And the coach that we used to have, because I say I ain't gonna say his name anymore. The coach we used to have would have gave Arthur Smith the finger, would have told Arthur Smith F him, and would have, matter of fact, he don't remember. I remember games when
he would have doubled down on it.
Yeah, he would have doubled down. He probably trying to let Jamal Williams score 2 touchdowns. But different mentality. But I kind of interested in what Coach gonna say, being that he's a coach. I'm kind of interested what he's gonna say.
I was gonna say the same thing too.
I kind of know.
Oh, look like we lost Dolph for a second. Yeah, the only we'll get Dolph back in here once he loads back up. The only thing that I would say, my last point on it was that I did not. If they were gonna run the play, I wish they would have just not have done a fake, a fake knee, and just set up like a run play. At least show them that you're gonna run. I think that's the only thing that I wish would have been a little bit different. But at the same time, like Dolph said, F the Falcons. I don't care. But the most interesting one, Coach Frank, what do you think about that play from a coach's perspective and a fan's perspective? I need both.
First of all, I think the first thing was keep your dirty laundry in house.
Mm-hmm.
DA should have never came out and said anything about it. He should have kept that locker room on it between him and the players. The only problem I had with it was if you're gonna score, don't get in a victory formation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just gonna score, go ahead and score. The other part of it is, as the head coach, I told you to kneel. Whoever was the people that voted, get your shit, get out my locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Clean your locker room, get out of here, get your ass, get out my locker room because I'm the coach. I make the last. Don't tell me about the team voted. I'm the coach. I told you take a knee. I gave you directions. You and whoever else, you did what you talking about them. Get your shit, get out my locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll deal with this moving forward. It shows to me, it showed that Dennis Allen does not have control of his players. He doesn't have control of that team. Because as a head coach, what a disconnect came with me. If I tell you do one thing as a coach, then you talking about, well, we voted. So we got two different parties going on here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the
You
coach?
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So who's the coach and what are you doing? And that sent the, as a GM,
The wrong message.
that sent the wrong message. And Dennis Allen, I'm sorry, thank you for 2 years. Get your shit and get out of here too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's overall just a horrible situation. I mean, like you said, the players are wrong for disobeying the coach. The coach is wrong for calling out his players, and it's just everything. It made it look worse what he said after the game. Like, it was already bad. You already know people were going to come out and have their opinions on whether or not we should have went for it and tried to score at that point in the game or not. Yeah, we all knew that. But the fact that you come out and say that you didn't call it, and now there's issues within the locker room, there's issues with who's the true leader and head of this team, because it feels like it's not DA.
Right. But if you go back to, I know it was a couple of weeks ago, where early in the season, Alvin Kamara came out and he said, you could tell the disconnect. He said, I'm a winner. They're losers. So immediately he had separated himself from the team right then and there. You know, I forgot who they had lost to when he made that comment. I was telling Dolph, he's already separated himself. So if he feels like that, how many other players feel like that on their team? Well, there's nobody in control. It just basically I guess it's just who just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's a disgruntled situation. I mean, when you have and this, we're not going to talk too much on New Orleans. This is not a New Orleans podcast, but it is a situation where we see with other teams as well, especially when they have not a long history, but have been playing winning football for, almost 2 decades now, have been successful, have Super Bowls, have a lot of division titles, made it to NFC championship games, and so on and so forth. And then you get into, the last 3 years where we haven't won the division, haven't made playoffs. We knew that there was going to be some time that was going to take to get back into, winning football and high competitive football, not just barely scraping in. We knew that was going to take time. But the fact that many players have came out and said that they don't feel like we're competing, that they don't feel the leadership in the locker room, that they, like AK said, that they're losers right now. It's not a good thing. And it's not a thing that can happen in a small market, because it's already hard enough to get players to come in. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, because I understand there's good and bad with whether or not to fire DA this year or not to fire him, and try to find a new head coach and trying to reset the organization and what players are coming in and out. But the fact that all the fans are completely against this and the players are against everything that's going on and have been being very vocal about how unhappy they are, it's definitely a startling issue that I don't see being fixed anytime soon. Like, it's really going to take a miraculous recovery in order to change this. let's go ahead and we'll segue into our next conversation as we're trying to get Dolph back up. Non, if you want to try and message Dolph and see what's going on, make sure he's okay. I know there's been like bad weather and stuff going through. Hopefully,
Yeah.
he's all good over there.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll text him because this is your topic here.
Okay.
So next up, we're going to talk about John Gruden. So with the whole John Gruden situation, as we know, he's suing the NFL. Non's going to give us some more details on that. We also know, in regards to the Saints, that they've been in the bed with him, possibly hiring him as some type of position, as whether it's an advisor, an OC. Some people believe he may even be up for a head coaching job. I think these are some rumors being sent around. I think TJ was the first one to come up with that one from the State of the Saints podcast. But let's talk about John Gruden as himself in this lawsuit. Non, take it away. Let us know what's going on.
Well, so as we all know, John Gruden is currently suing the NFL. Thank you for subscribing, Michael. But currently the lawsuit is in postponement, and it's because the NFL is appealing the actual lawsuit because they want to go to arbitration if they can, because they're trying to prove that, you know, because it happened when he was an employee of an NFL team, that the NFL wants to handle it in-house. But also if they handle it in-house, it allows them to keep everything private, so no one knows what the situation is. Now, Gruden and his lawyers are trying to prove that the reason why the leak took place is because the NFL themselves leaked the emails and not somebody from Washington, which is what even the lawyers of the women who were suing Washington initially that started all this said it's not the truth, because there's over 650,000 documents in this case. And because of that, Gruden and his lawyers trying to find out, well, how'd you find just my emails if there's over 600,000 documents to this case? Why is it just mine that came out and no one else's? And so that's why Goodell is also one of the people in the lawsuit. It's the NFL and him, because Gruden, who was in year 4 of a 10-year contract and had to actually recently settle with the Raiders to figure out what Raiders were going to, pay him to finalize his contract, saying, well, I'm losing. I lost my money. I lost my sponsorships. I lost my connections to the team and the NFL as a whole because of this. It makes me look bad in a bad light. And he feels like he's being singled out. So now that the NFL is actually appealing the situation, the court case, they say it was supposed to take place Wednesday. They didn't say which Wednesday. So it could have took place early today and there's nothing out just yet, or it'll be next Wednesday for the appeal. And if the NFL wins the appeal, it will go to arbitration. But currently, the Las Vegas court system is already in May of 2022 have said that they want it to be a regular case, a lawsuit. So they're trying to fight to get that appeal not successful. And if it's not successful, then the truth, it gives John Gruden and his lawyers discovery, which allows them to go through each and every piece of the document from the original lawsuit. Now, if they find an original lawsuit that it's not just his emails that are in those documents, then they actually have a major lawsuit. Not just, oh, I need to get my money back and my status back. You singled me out. Because from what the previous lawyers from the original case said, it wasn't just Gruden. There was several other coaches from out the NFL that were currently working at the time, as well as the owner of the Commanders at the time, and some people from in-house of the Commanders that also had some crazy emails and were saying some wild stuff like Gruden. Now, if that's the case and only Gruden got leaked, then they'll know for sure that the NFL actually leaked his information, and it'll probably be groundbreaking. And once again, it's another Raider that will be suing the NFL, because Al Davis did it in the 70s and won. He sued them twice. To leave Oakland to go to LA, and then to leave LA to go to Oakland. He won both times. And that's part of the reason why most Raiders fans believe that we always get the bottom of the shoe, because we've defeated the NFL multiple times. And with this situation, if it happens again, it'll be the third Raider associated person to defeat the NFL once again. And so more than likely we'll never get a Super Bowl for like the next 20 years. We know that. But so hopefully next Wednesday we'll have more information as far as if the appeal goes through or doesn't go through. So if it doesn't go through, all hell's about to break loose in the 2024 season for John Gruden versus the NFL. So
wow. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a big thing, and it's not to I guess understate what his wrongdoings were and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just trying to bring out the truth in it, and
The
we
truth,
know
yeah.
the NFL is corrupt. We know ownership is corrupt. We know we've had some peaks of what has been said from different members of the NFL as a whole, and this could be messy, big time messy.
It could be really messy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's including the manager of the entire league. So if it's on him, he'll lose his job. NFL will be in disarray for a couple of years trying to find the right person to take over, and then the fact that they're gonna have to pay him for what he lost, restitution. That was $100 million contract.
Yep. What's your thoughts on this, Coach Rock, on the whole Gruden situation?
I think y'all really touched on it, man. I'm just really waiting to see how this ends. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting.
It's only going to get worse.
I'm just seeing how it's going to get cleaned up.
It's very sloppy. I agree 100% with that, Coach. It's very sloppy.
Now, do we think that with this situation going on and him trying to get back into the NFL, whether it's with the Saints or another team, whether it's head coaching or if it's an advisor or anything like that, do we think that that's a good idea for the team that acquires him?
I mean, it depends, because what it proves is it's not just him that talking wild. I guess coming from a college sports background, being in football for a lot of years in college, not saying that they all talk, with racist tones or anything like that, but some of the stuff you hear between coaches and players, I've been cursed out by a coach where I almost went blow to blow with the offensive line coach for Fresno State, and I'm an employee of Fresno State. So, I'm not saying what he did was excusable. I don't know the extent of what he did do or what he did say. I just know that if the NFL is at fault,
I think the biggest thing was he made fun of or made a comment regarding the size of a fellow coach player's lip size. So it was discriminatory in something like that.
Okay. And I think me as a GM, I just throw my hands up. It's too sloppy, man.
It is very sloppy. I agree with that.
And the thing is with that, if I'm trying to move my franchise in the right way, I don't want to miss out on a good coach and touch Gruden. It's like, whoa, I shouldn't have touched him, and you might miss that coach. So it's kind of
and you don't know how players are going to feel about it, because I mean, I've been seeing just all over social media and a lot of Saints fans think about it. Some people think of like, oh, well, he's not fully guilty, yada yada yada. Other people can't stand it because they're like, I don't want something like that in my city representing my team that I love, and I don't think there's no reason that a GM should be like, nah, let's hire this guy, because you don't know what the players are going to think about him, how they're going to feel about him, and then they're going to have to trust in him to lead them, and that's not fair in the players.
I would be surprised. I mean, I know that the rumor for like the last 2 months has been him coming to join the Saints, but I just don't see that happening. Not with the ownership you have. The ownership is the mentality of ownership, especially being, how the South is. I just can't see it. Especially regardless if he is guilty or not, I just don't see it. I don't see them making that move. That doesn't make sense to me.
Now, to me, I see it kind of different, and I tell you why.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen is kind of their boy for the Saints organization.
Yeah.
And I think the big disconnect is with Mickey Loomis and the whole New Orleans base right now. It's a big disconnect because Mickey feels this is his boy. So if I could go get him and put him to kind of help my boy in the background, you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring him in. If I could help him save his job to help him look good, I kind of would do it. You know what I'm saying? Just to help him out.
Yeah. And that's just a whole screwed situation in it too, man. It's like, I get you want to help friends and family and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, this is a business and it's more than just your buddies and stuff like that. I mean, there's been like, excuse me.
When I cut you off, do you know there's a guy that is doing a GoFund to put a billboard up right by the Saints practice facility saying, fire Dennis Allen.
Yep, and now Mickey Loomis, using his power in New Orleans, went up to the company that rents out those billboards and upped the price so much to where they can't.
Right.
So again, it's making it used to be New Orleans is Saints. You're from New Orleans, from Louisiana. You are the
Right.
Saints. Like I say that's my team. Like oh, I lost this weekend. Now it's feeling like it's us versus the Saints, and that is going to become the biggest meltdown of this franchise. Like is going to be that.
Right.
So let's keep it going. So Dolph will not be back with us, guys. So he said it was an emergency. So prayers up for Dolph real quick. Make sure everything is good with him. Let's go ahead and look at some of the coaching that's going around in the NFL right now. We got our last two topics here. We have had a good bit of firing going on as of recently. We'll start from the very beginning. Obviously, Josh McDaniels, Brandon Staley, and Frank Wright all getting fired in the middle of the season. All great moves. And then as of recent, we've had a couple of surprises. One that's not surprising is Ron Rivera. Everybody expecting him to leave, and they're basically cleaning office out there in Washington. We'll see what ends up going over there. Washington feels like it's been a dead franchise for quite some time. Maybe they'll be able to pull a Texans and grab somebody good that can flip this thing around for them, but it'll take some time. We also have Mike Vrabel, who has been fired from Tennessee, a coach that is a player's coach. He's done a lot of good job mentoring and motivating. He's won the division several times in his tenure there. Also had them as the number 1 seed just a couple years back, where they lost in the first round due to Tannehill's negligence as a starting quarterback. But that was a surprise firing for me with Tennessee, and he's someone that I would expect to get swooped up soon. What y'all's thoughts on Mike Vrabel? Where do y'all think he would go? Do y'all have any opinions on that?
I don't have an opinion of where he's going to go, but him being fired, I'm not surprised at all. Like that team, like him, he kept playing Tannehill when he should have went away from Tannehill a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Tannehill was not the answer for that team, and anybody, I'll stick on that one. Like Tannehill's not the answer for that team.
It was the fact that he wasn't even trying to go get anybody else. With all these quarterbacks that have been moving in and out the last 3 years, you didn't try anybody else. That's what threw me off. What'd you think about the situation, Coach?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know why he didn't make a move, but I think it depends on what Belichick does. I think he's in play for New England. Depends on what Bill Belichick does. Does he walk away from this, the coach and the franchise part ways, agreeable? And I think he might be in line for that New England job.
Yeah. Reportedly, they have another meeting on Monday with
a second one. Yeah, because I knew they had one this Monday, so they're having a second one. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Another big one that came out is Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks have came to agreement to part ways as a head coach, but he will be staying in Seattle, taking over a advisory role. So they're leaving on good terms, and it looks like he's getting a job that is going to be a little less stressful for him. We know Pete Carroll, even though he doesn't show it on the sidelines, he's a little bit up in age, even though he'd be running up and down, going crazy in the locker room and stuff. What y'all's thoughts on Pete Carroll, and what can Seattle do with a new head coach?
I tell you one thing: if I was a GM, Pete Carroll is the 72-year-old with the most energy I see out of any coach.
I'm telling you.
You
gave him that oatmeal, right?
He gave it to me. He passed it on to me. But from everything I hear, players love to play for this man, bro. They love his coaching style. He's the kind of coach that players die to play for. And if I was a GM, I mean, I would give a call just to try to bring him in as a coach. I don't think he's done coaching, man. He's still energy. What I loved about him was he was the one played it. You remember the Legion of Boom? He played that physical brand of football. I love that. The smash, run downhill, running the ball. Just I loved it, everything about what he did on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, man. And as a GM, if I can make that phone call, and if he's interested in not sitting in a suit and sitting in the press box and still want to coach, I would definitely try to get him in my organization.
That's probably the most surprising move was the Pete Carroll move, but I honestly think has nothing to do with his coaching. It has everything to do with his health. I think that's what it's about. I think it's more so because he's getting older, and a couple of games towards the end of this season, and also during last season, they were talking about there was questions about his health, and him wanting to step away from football for a while and just focus on himself. Because, like you said, he's 72 years old. So in that situation, you got to think about yourself and your family. That's what's the most important. You don't want to be a head coach, because people don't realize how. I know, like I said, from a college point of view, how stressful college football is for a head coach. So I know for NFL, it's even worse, because you not only have to worry about a bunch of grown men, but the grown men have more say so sometimes than you do, because their paychecks are bigger than yours. So I think it's more so because of a health than anything. It has nothing to do with the coach, because I mean, he had a 137 and 89 record overall, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl win. It wasn't about him. It's about health, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. I think you're spot on with that too. I mean, because the thing is, the way Pete Carroll coaches, it's not like he can turn it off and stop being energetic and exciting and stuff like that. It's like you step on, you turn into another beast. Like they call it turn it on. He might be chill and to himself, but as soon as he steps on the field, he's a different. It just happens. So, but then
chewing that gum.
Yeah. So then we got some questionable non-fires and some potential hires in the NFL, which are definitely be on the lookout over the next month or so. The most surprising maintained head coach that I can't believe didn't change is Matt Eberflus for the Bears. They decided not to fire head coach Matt Eberflus, giving him another chance. We're assuming now, especially after losing to Green Bay, that they will be getting rid of Justin Fields and more than likely grabbing either a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or something like that in this year's draft. Do y'all think it's a smart decision to keep Matt over in Chicago?
I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say no, but at the same time, like, I think it's a lot of different factors that made that team have the issue that they had. And it's not just him as coach. It's a little bit of everything. You can look at all the OC, you can look at the DC, you can look at the linebackers coach, you can look at the wide receivers, and they all have some blame in that situation. It sucks that Fields will most likely not be there next season. I know there's a lot of Raiders fans that want us to get Fields. I'm like, I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't know if unless he's gonna be a free agent. I don't know if it's worth giving up pieces for him like that. But that one probably should be released. I mean, just they might have to start over. You know what I'm saying? Start a new blueprint with that team.
What you think, Coach?
Me personally, I think let's just press the restart button. Caleb Williams, let's bring him in. Let's see what we could get for Fields as far as a draft piece. I just would press the restart button all the way around. But the biggest domino is just moving Fields, getting some.
Get for him.
What would you get for him? What do you think you get for him?
If I could get a late first round, I would move him. I would definitely move him.
I think you'll be able to get that too, because I mean he's an unproven star. I mean we've seen what he can do when he's on, but we all see what he. So he has some potential. You just got to dial in some minor pieces to be able to really get it, and he needs some wide receivers to throw to. I mean this is the first year he's actually had some decent ones, and I mean and still at that it was DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore's a good wide receiver, but he's not a true wide receiver one. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's definitely interesting.
And not to mention the offensive line has been horrible.
Yeah.
His entire time.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's had good games with a bad offensive line, that just shows how talented he is. He's skillful. And that's where, as a Raiders fan, I'm like, okay, I can see, because he has a good arm. He has a really good arm. And if Devontae, who said wants to come back because he wants to be a Raider and retire a Raider. So if he stays there and we got Jacoby, we got Trey Tucker, I could see it because we have weapons for him. We have 2 talented tight ends, so we have weapons if they want to do that. I just don't know, what do you give up for him besides, because the Bears are gonna ask for more than just a first round pick. They're gonna ask for more than that. I have a feeling they will, but I don't know what's at stake.
Now I tell you where I would love to see him at Atlanta.
I think
the pieces they have in Atlanta.
He'd be really good at Atlanta. I agree with you on that. He would actually get he already loves his tight end. He'd actually get Kyle Pitts involved. Drake London, Drake London proved it to me this year that he can be a star in the NFL. He had flashes. He just didn't have no one to throw in the ball. So
Bijan Robinson.
yeah, oh yeah, man, that run game, they could run RPO and
Cordell
actually run the
Patterson.
ball. You know, actually
Yeah.
run the ball. Unlike
Yeah.
Chicago don't run the ball unless it's Justin Fields.
Yeah.
It's like, why even
And
have a running
they
back?
got 3 good running backs, and you don't run the ball.
Right. Right.
So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna name off a couple of potential coach hires, and then y'all go ahead and just let me know who y'all's favorite is out of these couple names. They aren't all of them, but this is just some that I've seen. The first one being Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, who just won a national championship. Shout out to Michigan. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. Ejiro Evero, who is the Panthers defensive coordinator, was actually a top candidate in a lot of articles that I saw. Brian Callahan has been a name that I've heard from a couple different teams that were interested in him. That's the Bengals offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy, which is one that's been floating around for the last couple years, but people are afraid that his old school coaching mentality may not work in today's NFL, but he has proven that he knows how to run an offense regardless of who his stars are. And then the most surprising one was the quarterback coach for the Panthers in Josh McCown. I thought this was surprising, but since players coaches have been more common and have been proven successful over recent years, I could see him being up for maybe not a head coaching job, but a office coordinator job or something like that. Out of those names, who's someone that sticks out, Coach?
Harbaugh
Harbaugh?
to the Chargers.
Yeah. Has to be, right? I mean, literally everything's there. Everything's there for him except for a salary cap. They're going to have to figure that out.
Right.
Well, he is the #1 coach that every Raider fan is talking about. Every Raider fan, because his start was in the Bay Area. He started with the Raiders, went to San Francisco. Like his tree all comes through Oakland, and he's actually a Raiders fan. So like, you know, they don't talk about it much, but he got a lot of Raider gear. But a lot of people want him, and I don't necessarily agree with the choice. I just think right now we have a situation where this will be the second time Davis did not listen to the players. The first time we got McDaniels, and look how that turned out. Now we have a coach who literally personifies what it means to be a Raider. Like, he personifies it 100%, regardless of his experience. This might be the coach we need to get us to the next hump. He might not be a Super Bowl coach, and I'm personally okay with that.
I think he's the best segue coach.
He might be the best segue coach, but at the same time, when we got Madden didn't have any real experience, and look what happened with that. Like, it turned out good for us, but he has been the best to pull out what these players needed to be pulled out to fit the mystique. We went from, 30, actually take it back, 32nd in defense to being top 15. You know what I'm saying? We had #4 in giveaway and takeaways. The change has been so great. And then when you see more information about what McDaniels was really doing, it wasn't just on the offense. He didn't let Patrick Graham do his thing. He didn't let this Ivy League intelligent man run the defense like he wanted to run. The fact that Ziegler actually wanted to move up in the draft to get CJ Stroud. That just came out in the story. He wanted to move to get CJ Stroud, but he didn't want him. He wanted to go with Garoppolo. That was his option. So it's like,
why hire him if you don't want to listen to him or even hear him out?
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think Harbaugh is probably the most enticing for most teams. Like you guys said, Chargers would be a good spot. And if they don't decide to go to AP, I can see Raiders could be an interesting spot. He did get drafted by the Bears. That could be interesting for him as well. So, I mean, but he is the biggest name probably. The what was the second guy? The OC?
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson from Detroit. He's the one I think people are saying he's asking for the most money. Because he's asking for a couple million, like, out the door, like, just to leave Detroit.
Interesting.
So,
well, we'll see how all that goes throughout the next couple months as people are trying to get everything set up before OTAs and all that good stuff before the draft. Let's go into our final and last topic of the night. Appreciate everyone that has listened in so far. Make sure y'all let us know in the comments or in the chat who you have winning all of these awards. The NFL awards are just around the corner. Regular season has ended. We'll start off with the #1, which I think we're probably all on the same train here. Who is your MVP, Coach?
got to go to Baltimore.
Got to.
Yeah.
I got to go to Baltimore. None other than the QB himself.
Got to. What about you, Non?
I'm in agreement. I think it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'm trying to think the only person. Who else would it be? Unless you're going, non-quarterback. Christian McCaffrey could be a good option, but Lamar Jackson, because it's the quarterback award. It'll probably be Lamar.
I mean,
Jackson.
how he showed out the last couple of weeks, beating the teams that he's beaten in dominant fashion. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Could it still be Dak
Prescott still be in the conversation?
I feel like he should be, but again, it's one of those things of what you did recently, and recently he won a game because of bad reffing, and then a couple games before that, or the game before that, he threw 3 interceptions and lost, and I think that's where his name kind of drops out. But yeah, I'm with y'all. I think Lamar 2 times MVP for a quarterback that people didn't want him to play quarterback. So good job, scouts. Y'all suck at y'all's job. Good job, Baltimore, for actually seeing the potential in this young man. Next up, Offensive Player of the Year. Coach Rock.
Woo, that's a good one there. Wow. Man, you hit me with that one. Some more oatmeal now. I would say McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm McCaffrey too. Yeah.
I would say McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just so we're not saying the same, because I think it's 1-1. I think it's a flip of the coin between him and Tyreek Hill. I really do. Tyreek has done something special. I think it's very upsetting that he missed those couple games. I think he ends up reaching crazy yardage at the end of the season, and he's been hurt as well, so that kind of affected him a bit near the end of the season. But what he does is just so special. It is great. I see Dolph in the chat. He's got CD Lamb. Hey, CD Lamb's my guy, man. CD Lamb is something special as well. It's honestly, this has been a great year for offensive players, because I think CD, Tyreek, Christian McCaffrey have all done just phenomenal things. And it'll be tough. It'll be tough to see who wins. I feel bad for second and third place because they both put out a show this year. Next up, we'll look at Defensive Player of the Year. Who you got, Coach?
Come back to me on that one. Ooh.
I mean, I'm gonna go home and say Max Crosby, but that's just me. I think he's been amazing this year.
I'm not mad at
he has quarterbacks running from him, like literally running. I'm gonna go Max Crosby. That's just Crosby.
I'm gonna go with the fan favorite of it all, man. But TJ Watt has been something phenomenal. This dude. And that Steelers defense,
he has been great. Yeah.
That team, I feel like we've said it all year. We just didn't feel like they're as good as what they've shown themselves to be, or they've been better than what they should have been. And a lot of that has to do with the defensive play. And TJ Watt's the leader of that, man.
I could agree with that. I can agree with that. Yeah.
Agree with that. Next up, we'll talk about some rookies. Rookie Offensive Player of the Year. It's got to be C.J. Stroud, right? I mean, this dude has just played phenomenal. Like, there was points where he was in the MVP conversation. I honestly wish he would have stayed in it. Unfortunately, he had those couple dull games in the middle, but he's been something amazing. What you think, Non?
Can we say Puka?
You can say whoever you like.
I was asking, like, do you think he would qualify for that? I mean, I think he's had a pretty good season.
I think if it wasn't for C.J. Stroud, he'd have it.
That's why I'm like,
I
like C.J. Stroud. I've been saying C.J. Stroud this whole year, but
I'll say another thing.
I'd say Puka. Yeah.
If the Rams would have gave Kyron Williams a chance at the beginning of the season instead of running Akers for those first 5 weeks, Kyron might have been up in that conversation as well. What's your thoughts on all that, Coach?
I got 3. I got Puka, CJ. I can't leave my boy out in Miami, the running back, Texas A&M kid.
Oh, Bijan? Oh no, Texas A&M. I'm sorry. Goodness.
Age. What's the little running back? 28, Miami.
Achane.
Achane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his injuries messed him up, but yeah, dude, he has been fun to watch. Him and Mostert.
Yeah.
It was funny. Me and Non all last year we kept talking. We're like, why don't they run the ball? Because whenever Tua got hurt, they started running the ball, and they had it like their offense looked so dominant last year. This year they start running, and man, look at the team. They looking good, man. Mostert and Achane. Achane's a star. Man, he's a star. Let's go on to Coach of the Year. Who do we have as Coach of the Year? I'll go with you first.
Go ahead, Coach.
DeMarco Ryans for me.
DeMeco Ryans, yeah.
Because of how he resurrected that foundation, DeMeco is mine too. Like, I think from what the Texans was and how bad they've been off and on throughout the last couple of years and the drama, he cleaned it up. He not only made them better, but he cleaned it up too. So DeMeco is mine.
I mean, going from a team that should have had the first overall pick last year, but decided to win a game at the end, ended up with second, grabbed CJ Stroud, and now in the playoffs, not only in the playoffs, but winning their division where everyone thought Jaguars would dominate, and then go out there and beat, beat the, who they played in the last game. Why am I, the Colts, beating the Colts in the last game, phenomenal work. I'm gonna have to go with Stefanski though, man. The stuff he's done with the Browns, with all the injuries to losing Chubb first week of the season, flipping between Ford and Strong, bringing back in Kareem Hunt, all the different quarterbacks that they went through, Deshaun Watson, the other guy with the double last name, I'm forgetting his name now.
Then the young QB, yeah.
The young QB, and then now with Flacco and what they've done and just holding it together. And really, if it wasn't for that Baltimore has been so good, they would have won that division too. I mean, 11-5 is what they finished, or 12-4?
I think it's 11-5 or 12-5.
And a shout out to Coach Campbell in Detroit too.
Oh yeah, man. The true players.
Definitely honorable mention. Yeah. I can see that.
And then the last one. This one's been kind of controversial from what I've seen through social medias, which is the Comeback Player of the Year award. A lot of people feel like this should be an instant prize award winning to no other than Damar Hamlins, who literally came back from the dead and played in the NFL. And it's just such a remarkable story. And I don't want to take anything away from that. But for me, man, Flacco came from eating moon pies and some honey and some glazed donuts and some popcorn, watching the games, to bring in the Cleveland Browns to one of Dolph's favorite, or possible to get out and into the Super Bowl this year. He's been phenomenal. What do you think, Coach? Right? Who's your Comeback Player of the Year?
It's be Flacco. I would say it's definitely Joe Flacco for me.
Nah.
Even though I know the NFL is about telling the story and getting the marketing dollars, they're going to go with Hamlin, because it not only is a great story, but they started a whole new foundation in NFL to promote, health and awareness. So it's most likely going to be him, so they can promote that in the story. But it should be Flacco. Flacco has played out of his mind to, like you said, come off the bed. Or come off the couch, really, with a couch QB for the first part of the season. Come out of nowhere, kept himself in a good, healthy shape, good enough to play. So the fact that this team, who once the star QB went down, and then the backups were going down left and right, then you lose Nick Chubb, like you lose all these pieces, and we were like, okay, this a wrap.
It's over.
Drop your fantasy players now. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And you bring in Flacco, and it was like nothing really changed. It was like nothing changed, but it actually got better. The team started playing for each other. Players who weren't really getting the rock started saying, okay, feed me the rock, let me play, I'm here. It started showing up. I think it's to me, it's Flacco. But I know the story is going to be.
If Flacco, that he literally was just living the dad old man life. My boy was falling asleep on Monday Night Football. It was too late for him. He even said he said he started dozing off.
Yeah. There's one also that we don't talk about a lot, and a lot of us read him off. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and that's what Dolph said in the comments.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Also in the playoffs. Very true.
Yeah,
because I will admit, I wrote him off at the beginning.
Yeah, we wrote him off, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Saints went paid Carl $100 million.
Yeah.
150 of them.
Baker, well, he got 4 million. Look at the
Yeah.
difference. You know what I'm saying? We like, oh no.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm actually so happy that Baker, like, it sucks that he succeeded with the Buccaneers as being a Saints fan, but I've always been a fan of Baker. I think that dude is one of the toughest SOBs in the NFL. I still think it's crappy what Cleveland did to him. I understand, you know, going grab Deshaun Watson because that dude's a superstar and all that, but that man, he put everything into that game of football for Cleveland. And then to get kind of left out cold, gets put into a bad situation over in Carolina, gets benched, not even I think 4 or 5 weeks into the season, gets benched, then signs a friendly deal with the Bucs because they just had no other options after Tom retired. And then to come and win the division, everybody in the NFL thought they were going to get 3 to 4 wins this year. You know? Yeah. So big shout out to Baker Mayfield, man.
I agree.
But this has been another amazing episode. Coach Rock, I really appreciate you for joining us tonight. Sorry for all the complications that happened earlier. Dolph as well. I know you in the chat. Appreciate you, Dolph, for coming by. We'll definitely keep doing this more and more.
Thank y'all for having me, man. I was glad to come aboard, man.
Expect it again some more in the future. We'll have you again.
Okay.
We'll have you again.
Okay.
But guys, this is Real Fan Sports. Make sure you come check us out live on Friday on the As the NFL Turns Sports podcast. If one of our mods can please link that in the chat, it'll also be in the description of this video if you want to check us out on Friday and every Friday throughout the playoffs, where we will be giving you our predictions and thoughts on who's gonna win and highlighting some important players for each team in those matchups, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be an exciting year of football to close, coming up to another exciting Super Bowl, and we have much, much more to come as we're getting into the NBA season as well. So appreciate everyone for joining us. Nan, you got any closing words?
Appreciate you. Love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Shout out to Coach Nick Saban, man. Great career, Coach Saban. Great career, man.
Thanks. Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're out, guys. Cheers.
Peace out.